The higher you climb, the more energy it takes just to stay up there. Step down and something strange happens. You're steadier than you were at the top. That's not just true for balance, it's true for how your ideal clients experience you. Every expert is trying to defend. Board certified, 20 years, fellowship trained, 250,000% growth, standing on top of a title, working hard to hold the position. But when you're up there defending it, how much of your energy is going into staying there instead of moving forward? And what happens when you step down off the title and start going for something instead? This is called the expert trap or the champion's trap. And by the end of this video, you're going to understand why some of the most qualified people stay trapped inside their credentials. And once you see it, you start seeing it everywhere. And you'll know exactly what to do about it for your messaging. Inside the book Psycho-Cybernetics, Maltz recalls a boxing coach who used to tell his reigning champion fighters, the second you step through those ropes, you're not the champion anymore. You're the challenger. Doesn't matter what the belt says. Tonight you're going for something, not defending anything. Most coaches, experts, and service providers run their entire acquisition system like reigning champions, protecting their title and their experience, playing it safe, and then wondering why the DMs have gone cold, why nobody's biting, why the calls aren't booking like they used to. I don't blame you. You earned that title. Board certified, 25 years, debate champ, fellowship trained. That's real. But here's where it goes wrong. That language shows up everywhere upstream of the sales call. The bio, the video hook, the website headline, the first line of a cold DM, email, or anything else for that matter. And the one searching for what you've got isn't reading it in a vacuum. They're reading it after they've already scrolled past 3 other people today with the exact same 3 lines in their bio. Board certified, 20 years, fellowship trained, I worked here, I did that, here's everything all about me, all at once, in your face. From where they're sitting, you don't look like the obvious choice. You start to look like the 4th version of something they've already decided not to click on. So the credentials that are supposed to be proof end up doing the opposite job. Instead of making you stand out, they make you disappear into the wall of everyone else, defending the same title. Make sense? Here's the part that matters most. None of this is happening on the call. This isn't about what you say once someone's on the Zoom call or in the office one-on-one with you. For the consultation, that's a different skill, a different department. And spoiler alert, it makes that part actually easier if you do what I'm going to share with you in this video. This is about everything that has to go right before someone's willing to book that call in the first place. And right now, for most experts, the thing standing in the way is the exact thing they thought was their strongest asset. So I know what you're thinking. If credentials aren't the thing that gets someone to book, what is? Way before anyone books a call with you, they're not evaluating your qualifications. Not yet. They're doing something much simpler. They're deciding whether you see them. Like really see them. Whether the thing you just said in the video, the bio, the DM, describes their actual problem or just describes you. That's the sequencing most experts get backwards. They open with, here's who I am. What actually gets someone to stop scrolling is, here's what I know about you. I know what you're thinking. I know where you've been. I've seen where you sleep. Okay, maybe that one's gone too far, but you might know what's keeping them up at night. Fair enough? Think about the difference between these 2 openers. 1, board certified physician with 20 years of experience helping patients since 1989. The other, you've gone to all the experts. No one seems to be able to help you. They tell you, it's all in your head, your numbers look fine. You've done all the things. The diet, the workouts, the discipline, the tracking, the apps. And the pain still won't go away. You're exhausted, overwhelmed, and starting to think, maybe it is in your head. But what if I told you they've been looking through the wrong lens? And there's one shift that explains why nothing you've tried in the past has worked. And here's what you can do about it. The first one is true. It's earned, but it says absolutely nothing about the person reading it. The second one doesn't mention a single credential, and it's the one that makes someone feel caught, seen, heard, and slightly called out, which is exactly the state someone needs to be in before they're willing to book a call with a stranger. You've closed that gap. Notice what's missing from that second line. Not the truth. They're both truthful, right? It's the ego. It's not talking about you at all. It's all describing them, back to them, more precisely than they've heard it described before. That's the actual job of everything upstream of the call. Not to prove you're qualified, to prove you understand the problem better than they've heard it named before. Qualifications come later. Once they've already leaned in, paying attention, credentials answer the question, how do you even have expertise in this area to begin with? What's your story? How do you know about this? Right? That comes after. But they can't be the reason someone leans in to begin with. That job belongs to something else entirely. Okay, now, so let's go back to the boxing coach for a second. The second you step through the ropes, you're not the defending champion. You're the challenger. That's not just a mindset thing for the person standing in the ring. It shows up in how the fight actually gets fought. A challenger only has one move. Go forward. Take the wrist. Throw the punch. Go for the knockout. Because standing still, defending, doesn't win them anything. A reigning champion has the temptation to do the opposite. Protect what's already theirs. Take fewer risks. Play it safe, because in their head, they've already got something to lose. Here's the problem. The champion's approach is always the harder one to sustain. Protecting something takes more energy than building it. And it's a lot easier to see coming from the outside. You can feel it. In a fight, in a game, in a content, you can feel the exact moment someone shifts from going for it to just trying to hold on. And that shift is exactly what happens to most experts marketing over time. Early on, when nobody knows you, you're forced to go for it. Sharp positioning, specific language, real risk in what you say. Then it starts working. And the instinct kicks in to protect what's working. Play it safer. Round the edges off the message so it doesn't offend anybody. Lean harder on the credentials because credentials feel safe in a way that a sharp, specific claim doesn't. That's the moment the system stops attacking and starts defending. And your prospective client can feel it, even if they couldn't tell you why, the same way you can feel it watching a team stop trying to score and start playing not to lose. You and I watched this play out real time over the summer. World Cup semifinal, England versus Argentina. 55 minutes in, Anthony Gordon scores, and England is up, 1-0. 30 minutes away from their first World Cup final in 60 years. And instead of going for the second goal, the goal that puts the game away, England does the exact thing we're talking about. They pull back, protect the lead, play it safe. Well, I don't need to tell you how that played out. Their own captain said it afterward. In his own words, they just tried to hold on. And holding on is exactly what they did right up until the 85th minute when Argentina finally broke through. England had spent 30 minutes basically running striking practice for Argentina. Eventually, one was going in. Then 2 minutes into the stoppage time, Argentina scores again. 2 goals in 7 minutes. And this wasn't the first time in this tournament. Wasn't. Argentina had already pulled off comeback after comeback to get to this game. Everyone watching could see it coming. England should have seen it coming too. Game over, final, gone. England didn't lose that game because they weren't good enough. They lost it because for 30 minutes, they switched from a team that was going for something to a team that was protecting something. And this second way is always more fragile than it looks. That's the trap. Not just for a national team in a World Cup semifinal, for an expert who spent years building something sharp and specific and then quietly started defending it instead of building on it and going for something. Let me show you what this actually looks like, because I'm seeing this exact pattern play out with some of my clients right now. First example, before this client came to me, he just spent tens of thousands of dollars on a very basic funnel that had no path for anyone to even know that it existed. $30,000 to be exact. And when I looked at it, the entire landing page was about him, his credentials, years in practice, case history, social proof, results, and credentials, all of it. Every bit of it true, every bit of it earned, a lot of copy. And there was nothing, not one line about the person he actually wants walking through the door. No mention of what that client is going through right now, what they're afraid of, what they don't understand about their own case and story. The whole site said, I'm qualified. Trust me, bro. Not one word said, I see you. Oh yeah, this is definitely the right place for you specifically. That's one pricey pedestal, a beautiful one. And still, nobody standing on the ground looking up at it feels like it's talking to them. Another client, a woman who spent 2 decades building and running different businesses. Now she's following a dream of hers she's had for a very long time, leading retreats for women. Her current marketing talks about releasing stress, clearing limiting beliefs, reconnecting with yourself, activating your joy. Every phrase is true, and every phrase could describe literally any wellness retreat on the planet. Women isn't a specific person. It's a category with billions of people in it who all have different reasons for needing what she offers. 20 years of business experience, and none of the language is translated into who specifically she's built this for and why she specifically is the one to lead it. Not stressed out women. The exact woman she actually wants in that room. Are they busy execs? Stay-at-home moms? Gen X? Millennials? Same trap. 2 completely different industries. Both of them are standing on top of something true, working hard to hold their balance instead of stepping down and getting specific enough that the right person actually feels it. So what do you actually do differently? Start with the sequencing. Every touch point upstream of the call, your bio, your video hook, your homepage. The first line of a DM leads with them, not what's on your wall. Not, I'm qualified, something closer to, if this sounds like you and what you're currently trying isn't working, Here's your solution. Then they might think, how did you know that? And the credentials, they still matter. They're just not the opener. Once someone's leaning in, once they're already convinced you understand their problem, I've got the secret. That's when board certified 25 years does its job. That means the homepage doesn't open with the business's history. It opens with the exact fear this ideal client is sitting with the night before they finally search for help. Then earns the right to mention 25 years of case history. A few scrolls down, it means forego stressed out women entirely and naming the actual woman, what she's burned out on specifically, what stage of life she's in, how her day was yesterday, what she's stopped letting herself want. 20 years of business experience becomes the reason you can hold space for that woman specifically, instead of a generic credibility line getting glossed over and swiped by. Here's the one-line test I'd give you to run on your own content this week. Read your bio, your video hooks, your homepage headline out loud and ask, does this describe me or does this describe them? If the answer is you, you're still standing on the pedestal. Step down, it's less wobbly and literally more grounded. The higher you climb on your own credentials, the more energy it takes just to hold the position. And the less steady you actually look to the person deciding whether to hire you. You've earned the pedestal, nobody's arguing that. But the prospect isn't looking for someone standing on top of something impressive. They're not thinking, oh, if I can find the person with 25 years of experience instead of 20. This one only has 15, this one has 20. Then I'll move forward. They're looking for someone steady enough to come down and meet them where they actually are. In fact, I'd argue if you don't do that, there's a fear holding you back. Step down off the title. Go for something instead of defending it. That's the whole shift. Because sometimes the best defense really is a good offense. If any part of this hit home for you, if this stirred you up even a little, if you've been playing defense when you should be running offense in your business, watching less qualified get chosen ahead of you, grab a spot on my calendar, links right below. Let's get you moving forward. See you inside.